Yo, Reali-T, your boy from Hackney, aka Black Guy in Your Neighborhood, aka my mother's favorite rapper, and this is the In Your Neighborhood podcast, baby. In Your Neighborhood podcast, episode 14, with your boy Reali-T, your boy from Hackney, aka Black Guy in Your Neighborhood, aka my mother's favorite rapper, aka Dark Kent.
Dark Kent. I must be Lex Luthor with this baldy.
And I'm here with 45 minus 5, aka 40, and Beezy, aka B in the building, and aka the neighborhood's favorite lawyer.
Be in the building. That'd be a good producer tag, wouldn't
Be
it?
in the building.
Yeah.
Be in the building.
How's everyone doing, man? There's a lot of the podcast family, there's a lot of disarray in life. I just want to make sure everyone's all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. You guys got the accounting, yeah?
Have you passed on the splits, T? Because
yeah. We talked about it amicably. If I start getting an ego or whatever, like Beezy, I think Beezy tried to call me the other day and he said, can I have the accounting? I was like, what? Do you know who I am? I'm Reali-T.
Nice.
So, but then I had to calm down and say, you know what? Let me speak to John. He'll get them to you.
Yeah, and then
Not
he's
in
like,
this Excel spreadsheet.
He's like, I need to speak to my lawyer. Then he called me again. I was like, oh shit, I'm your lawyer.
Are you referring to the Joe Budden podcast debacle right now?
Oh no!
ABP. We're gonna catch up with it, aren't we?
It's all a mess. Have you seen the Rory and Ma response?
I just watched that this morning, so we could discuss that later.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. But on the real, how you guys doing though? Because this week's been Mental Health Awareness Week. The past week that's gone. So obviously, the selfish, unthoughtful guy that I am, sometimes I don't even introduce you guys on the podcast. However, you know, that's all for sure. I do ask behind closed doors sometimes. So, but however, on the real note, how you guys feeling? How's this week been? Did you even give a thought to mental health awareness? Because
sure.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. If we're gonna open it up and start talking, I think about it all the time, really, because in my line of work, some days are good, some days are bad.
Hold that thought, Busy. We'll save that. That thought.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Real talk.
But yeah. It's a good week.
It's a good week. Oh, and
considering
another thing, Merry Eid, Busy. Merry Eid.
Thank you, bro.
We're out here celebrating Eid, and free Palestine too.
We'll get to that.
So on that note, we're going for top 3 songs about mental health, mental illness, mental health. I might as well just start off quick fire ones. We got Ghetto Boys, Mine's Playing Tricks on Me. Number 2, we got Notorious B.I.G., Suicidal Thoughts. And number 3, I went for something a bit, I'm trying to be down with the kids, innit? So I went for Lil Uzi Vert, the guy with the diamond on his head.
Yeah, I think he might have some mental health issues.
Yeah, man. It's a bit mad still.
Have you still got it?
I think so.
EXO no way has he got that diamond in his head still.
Wasn't it bleeding or something?
There's no way he's still got a diamond in his head.
Things like that, yeah, they make me itch.
Like a diamond in your head?
Yeah, I feel like my skin is moving away from my body when I see things. And when it was bleeding,
so
I've got trypophobia and stuff. So
his song, what's he talking about in it?
He's talking about all his friends are dead and he's pushing him to the edge.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of the songs.
Sorry.
A lot of the songs.
That's how I could explain
it. If that's what he's talking about. But like a lot of them, like the Ghetto Boys, it's kind of like I don't know. Would you think when that came out? Do you think people looked at that as a track about mental health?
I think back then you had to be like the tough gangster, especially Ghetto Boys. You're calling yourself Ghetto Boys, and you're talking about your mental health. They probably thought, oh, you know, Scarface is just playing. You know what I mean?
The way it comes across to me is like they're like it's a track about mental health, obviously, but it's more like the outcome.
Mhm.
Like there's not really like any. It's not like
Solution.
it's not introspective. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not kind of. I don't know if it's necessarily showing the soft side of it, right?
I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's still maintaining. I guess it's cleverly done in that way because it
Mhm.
was still marketable or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah. I
I
don't know.
guess.
It wasn't kind of like I think Biggie's track was a bit like that as well, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Like he was like talking about suicide, like he was putting like a tough edge on it.
Yeah, yeah. I think you had to be like that back then before, you know,
Exactly,
man like Kanye and Drake came in and said, you know what, you can be beta and rap. You can be beta and still rap, and then you can still sell as well. But yeah, Scarface in a lot of people's eyes is one of the best rappers ever. And one day I need to check out his discography because, you know, like he was here before our time really going like in terms of rap. So I need to check him out and feel. One track I love from Scarface though is On My Block. I just love the sample on that. However, what's your top 3 songs about, if you have any? I mean, this is a tough one.
No, there's quite a lot there, and I think there's different angles to a lot of it as well, and there's probably things that you can consider that aren't exactly a track that you might think are about mental health, but it is.
Yeah.
And then there's tracks that are uplifting, which I guess kind of you could say, well, this is to help somebody who's got mental health issues. There's tracks that get really like corny about it as well. But anyway, look, DMX Slipping. Yeah, I think for someone who was definitely portraying the tough guy image, he also really balanced it, didn't he, with those kind of relatable. That's a bit more introspective, I think. And then my second mental health track, I would say a bit of an off center one, like with Stan. So
That's a good one.
just because it's a clever track, excellent hip hop track, whether you like Eminem or not. Yeah, it's definitely about a guy with a mental health issue, right?
He's obsessed.
Yeah, and I think he commits suicide and homicide as well, doesn't he? At the end of that track,
double homicide because his wife was pregnant.
Oh,
and he was like, "How am I supposed to send this?" Oh, yeah. No, that was a really clever song, man.
The third track, I was gonna go with something else, but I just changed my mind, to be honest. I was thinking I want to go for something that's a little bit more kind of uplifting. And the name of the track is, sorry guys, Still Get Through the Day by R.A. the Rugged Man. And remember Eamon?
Oh,
What a name.
Yeah, Eamon's
Holmes
track as well, yeah, but it's a bit more of a. I changed my minute last mind and put that one in because I wasn't going to put it in because he's like, oh, don't be just sat at home depressed, like get up and do something, which can sound a bit kind of easier said than done.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty uplifting track, you know. It's called "Still Get Through the Day." It's talking about whatever you've got going on, like don't let it get the better of you. You can still crack on and get on with things. So yeah, that's my top 3 songs related to mental health for Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah. What? Another question: Who's the worst singer out of Eamon and Lumi D?
Lumi D. I think Eamon can kind of sing.
Oh, okay.
He's not got the. I think he just had that track that was massive, wasn't it? And it was like corny as well. What was it called? I don't want you back. I don't want you back. Yeah. And then there was that girl who had to reply with like "fuck you right back" or something.
Apparently
like that.
They didn't know each other ever.
I only learned that about like a year ago. When for some reason I was driving and I just remember that, and I remember like that was like the biggest beef in top of pop's history, and I was like, he's Bird. Like, what did he do? and then like started Googling and found out that just
They didn't know each other.
Yeah, it was what it was. It's like bit hurt.
And she only had one track too.
What was she called? Was she called Frankie or something?
Yeah.
I'm just pulling this out of like, it might be wrong, but
I don't even know. But what's your songs about mental health, Beezy?
Yeah. She's a bit of a tough one. I'll certainly say Suicidal Thoughts by Biggie. Because of just the name itself and just at a young age, seeing that and hearing it, you're like, damn. I wouldn't say this is one of my favorites, but I do want to give it its respect, which is Logic's track. With all the telephone numbers.
I'm gonna have to stop you there.
I'm sorry, bro. I've got to give it. Go on.
I saw that when I was searching up Logic's track 1-800. No disrespect to anyone going through mental health. You put the number there, but I just find everything that Logic does so.
I agree. It's corny.
It's illogical. Like it's kind of logical because he knows he's gonna sell, but I feel like he was just leaning into something.
It's corny, but I have to give it its due because it was played on a big stage.
Yeah,
and
true.
It would have. That's what I mean. It's not my song about mental health because I really, when it comes to that, I only have one song, which is going to be my last one. But I have to give it the respect, the props it should get because to play that at a Grammy stage or whatever, whether you're playing into it or not, and I think Logic's corny, but clearly like he has these struggles with mental health, and he obviously retired because of basically all the hate he was getting through music and whatever. Actually, and just because he's a bit corny as well. But
let me give him his round of applause. Sorry about that, Logic.
Just for that, regardless of whatever he wanted to do with that, however corny he was, this round of applause is the longest thing in the world. Like, this is mad. Right, yeah. Like I've just got to give it his props. I think it should.
I do like the person he collaborated with on that, Alessia Cara. I think was it Alessia? Yeah, she's excellent. She's excellent on it.
Yeah.
She's a really good singer.
Yeah.
What's your third one?
My third one is, I would say, my mental health track, and from a different angle, it's Kendrick Lamar, Feel. Oh, mate. Just when you're having a bad time, whatever, and you put that on and just I feel like I feel like got the chip of the world on my shoulders. I feel like I can't breathe. Like it's what you generally feel like when you're going through a tough time.
Yeah.
And the more and more that I've gone through my journey of mental health, when I put that on, I feel it more and more and more. And it's mad because when it first came out, I wasn't a big fan of the Damn album as much as like his other albums. But these are the songs within that album where I'm like, whoa, this is special. And for me, like that's my mental health track. I'll go back to listen to that, and just the chorus, ain't nobody praying for me. I'm like, damn, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kendrick, man, he needs to come out with something new. But I've got a word from our resident mental health correspondent right now. I want you to listen carefully.
Tough time never lasts. Only tough people last.
Next,
I love him.
Next we got.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
Is that the same person?
No. Come on, man.
I know I'm joking, man. Come on, man.
What enough? Yes, the section where we talk about what's viral, what's going on in the world, what makes you say what enough, or oh my God, wow. First of all, pregnant woman. She's pregnant. She's gonna have a few babies.
She's not having 9, is she?
Can you imagine? That this is gonna make the next thing I say even weirder.
Oh.
It's not the Malian woman. It's not Mrs. CC. Pregnant woman has offered to stream her childbirth live on OnlyFans for $10,000. is it dollars or pounds? It's 10,000 something for 10K, 10 bags. Would you watch?
I mean, it's probably got some use for some people out there. I'm not talking about like sexually or whatever, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact it's on OnlyFans, isn't it? Like it's known for like to be porny.
Yeah.
So then, like, are you making childbirth? Like, I don't know. There might be some like medical students who like want to see. Like, I would imagine they've already got access to videos or things like that anyway. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm just trying to look at the brighter side of it.
Yeah.
But realistically, the fact it's going on OnlyFans, like, is there going to be guys like jerking the gherk and childbirth and stuff?
Bloody hell. There's some pervs out there.
There is.
This woman's backstory, she hit the headlines in 2K19 after she faked depression and Mental Health Awareness Week. So this is quite topical.
She faked depression.
Faked
Is she famous or
depression to get
something?
a 7K nose job.
Oh. So she said like, "Oh, I'm proper depressed because I've got a bent schnozzle," and then they changed it.
I mean, someone finds her attractive because this is her fourth child. This is going to be her fourth child, so she can't be that unattractive.
Let's not get into that. Do men need somebody to be attractive?
Yeah, actually, true. She's made £40,000 pounds, because she's from Hitchin in England, from sharing sexy pictures on her OnlyFans account. So
so she is wanting to post her childbirth from like a sexual point of view.
Yeah.
She's already got people paying for a run there. And now she's like, yeah, you can see me just like push this sprog out for 10 grand.
10 grand.
What tier? What tier is that? Is that a pregnancy package? I'm trying to figure it out.
I mean, I'm reading this article and I'm seeing another headline. My teenage son made me an OnlyFans account to earn himself more pocket money. I mean, I'm not even going to go into that. That one is
made his mum an OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
So, you know.
He was wanting to see the pictures or something, wasn't he?
You just go into a rabbit hole all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she wants 10K. Big question. This is the big question I've been wanting to ask for a while. Your girl comes, say for example, Beezy, let's role play. Oh, actually pause.
Mad.
Surprise, motherfucker.
For example, Beezy, your girl says, yo, B. She probably calls you B.
Don't call me B, bro. No, not after you said let's role play. Don't call me. You know what? Nah, just go. I'm gonna get cancelled today. Let's go.
She goes, you know what? Men are offering me 1K a picture on OnlyFans. What would you say? Not like this is just hypothetical. What would you say? I'll swing the question to you later, Footy.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're posting. If you want to, if it's 1K, if it's 1K for sexy pictures.
Yeah. Posting raunchy pictures, 1K a picture.
I'm not on it.
Men are offering.
I'm not on it, bro. I might discuss like you want to put your toes out there, right? There's a market for that. But nah, man. But if I was seeing someone and this is what they were doing and I end up seeing them, I have to make a decision. I have to take it for what it is. I can't tell them at that time, like, oh, you can't do that. But if my girls to come to me and be like, yeah, I want to start OnlyFans, and like,
oh, if they were already doing it,
yeah, like that point, like I can't manage you there. Like, I've got to,
so you're on your third date and you've been asking the girl, oh, so what do you do? You know, I work in investments. People invest in me, and then you find out what they're investing in. Ah! Another one.
What say you, 40?
Surprise, motherfucker.
She's on OnlyFans.
I'd just be the same, really. Like, if I got with someone and they were already into that kind of stuff, I've dated, maybe not OnlyFans, I've dated girls who've been in other similar lines of work before, and it's kind of like the tone's set from that point. I get what you're saying. Like, if if you're with someone, if they're like your partner, and then they decide they want to do it. It's a bit different, isn't it? Because you kind of got it
Yeah.
set in your mind like where we're at in this situation, and then for OnlyFans to be introduced like after a certain amount of time, I don't know. Like you got to kind of reassess your whole foundations. It's not the foundations, is it? But I don't know. It just switches things up. I guess not everybody can deal with that.
Yeah. Or you have to. Then you'll have to have a certain room in your house. The
An
OnlyFans room.
OnlyFans room
That's
Like-
mad.
with just a bed and some lighting and a webcam.
You're walking past that room with disgust, like, oh, you're so torn about that room. Like, we're making money. I mean, it paid the bills this month, but you know.
Imagine playing your PS5 in that, but it's been bought off OnlyFans money.
Yeah.
It's just-
She was in the queue for PS, but she paid the OnlyFans, you know, showing her bum to Mr. Jackson's online. But you know, did I tell you about that experience I had in the strip club?
No, which
Go on.
experience?
I've only had one experience in the strip club, guys. I'm not that kind of guy. But I went to the strip club, yeah, and obviously the stripper was stripping, innit? She took me for a private show. I was like, ooh, the boy's becoming a man. So I was there, and then straight away, I was like, I just spent £30 for this. That was my initial thought. My initial thought, I spent £30. I could have bought like kebab or something 6 times over. Secondly, the way she was dancing in front of me, I was like, do men really enjoy this?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't get it.
and then thirdly, what came into my mind, self-diagnosed ADHD, because I can't concentrate. I was like, first thing I asked her was like, so how did you end up here?
Captain Saverho.
I was like, this
Of
girl
all the
must have,
questions.
this girl must have had loads of dreams and aspirations, and now she's here bending over in front of me.
Maybe she dreamt of that. I don't want
But-
to say from too early, like, because that sounds weird, but you
Yeah.
know, like maybe she just got to a certain age and was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I like that attention. Like,
Mm.
I think I get it. Like, a traditional standpoint is that
Mhm.
people shouldn't aspire to want to do that.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, you're doing it because it's like a last choice. But I think the reality is that some women might just enjoy doing that. They might
Yeah.
enjoy flashing the gash for a bit of cash. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
I mean, the way you should have been there. The way she was doing it didn't look
Or
like
was it
she
like
was,
she was? Oh, like she was dancing against her will.
like, it was like it was like, you know what? It was like, you know, The Sims.
Oh,
She looked like she was from The Sims.
This is the thing. Like, even I don't really get like if you're with your girl
Yeah.
and she's in the bedroom like trying to do some dancing, whether it's nice or not. Like
Yeah.
before you're about to do it, I don't get it.
We need
Like,
to
I don't
get,
know.
because we had a discussion with some guy called Obi like last week, and he was like, oh, you know, you might want to spice it up. And I get his point of view. We need to get him on later on and have this discussion. Like, on
you need to
another
be in the
podcast.
right wavelength for that. Because when
Yeah.
it's like, if you're not thinking like that,
Mhm.
and your girl starts doing that,
It's
it
weird.
don't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
You're just like, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mood killed. The vibe is dead.
and then they'd be like, you're not feeling this. It's like, it's not that I'm not feeling it. I just wasn't
Yeah.
prepared for it. So I'm like, what can I really
And it's
do?
just like you sat there or laid there and they're dancing for you, and it's like, what am I meant to do?
Yeah.
the thing is,
Like
that
I'm just here, like just being danced for. I don't know. It feels weird.
I've got an image of T sitting on a red settee in a strip club, and
It was red.
like,
It was red.
oh no,
It
do you
was
know what I
red.
mean? And then this Sim style stripper just narrating in front of him, and I can't get it out of my head. I can't believe it was red.
That's how it was. And then we were having the conversation about her makeup business while she was while she was completely naked.
Was this the other week? T was like, "How do you feel about going on a podcast?"
Oh, we should have. If we had this going, I would have invited her. Set up her makeup business. Good,
It sounds
good
like you
marketing.
became good friends.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ellie.
I think she just wanted more dances because she was sitting next to me the rest of the. Oh, this is my boyfriend, blowing up my ego. But I was like, nah, man, I can't be with a Sims character. I like my women real. J. Cole, Rwandan basketball.
That's the weirdest just segue ever.
J. Cole, Rwandan Basketball League. The man's you know J. Cole, what I call him, yeah? Great rapper. But I feel like he's definitely one of those fake woke guys.
Fake woke.
Yeah.
You think he's just doing the wokeness for the clout?
Yeah, because you know what, yeah? I'm not saying I could grow dreadlocks, but are you gonna call a guy that looks like he doesn't wash his hair not woke? Are you really gonna call J. Cole not woke? A guy that looks like
he looks
he
like
doesn't
wears,
even
like,
use
tie-dye
as the
hoodies.
value Head and Shoulders.
You know what? I think you're onto something. You know, I don't know what it is with dreads.
Yeah,
and the rappers just starting to just grow out their hair and being like, yeah, this is the path I'm on. Like Jay-Z did it, J. Cole did it, Kendrick Lamar's doing it, and now they're woke.
Mm-hmm.
Now you won't see them wearing jewelry. Now you won't see them talk about anything else bar this.
Yeah.
Why are you classing that with the dreadlocks?
Fam, I don't even know. Like, there's a thing about a man that looks like he doesn't wash his hair that you feel like this guy, he just doesn't care anymore. He's one with nature. You know what I mean? Someone that looks one with nature, you can't tell them they're not woke. I'm hearing what J. Cole's rapping about, and it doesn't match with what like you remember when he wore that Technicolor dream coat to do that dunk in the dunk
he
contest?
missed.
Yeah. How can you call it that inducted him into the Woke Hall of Fame? No one even dissed him for missing that because J. Cole's look at his Technicolor dream coat and his dreadlocks. Oh,
they were saying, I'd have given him an 8 for that, even though he still missed it.
Yeah. Like you can't diss someone with dreadlocks like that. But not taking away from the fact that J. Cole is probably in the top 3 rappers right now of our generation. You saw that freestyle he did on that. Is it Power 106? Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. That guy made me like want to rap and write even more. Excellent freestyle. But then
sometimes his delivery's like a bit unenergetic. Like the freestyle was sick, but like the intro to the new album, like the beat was big but he just sounded so like chill on it. Like the bars were nice.
Because he's going through that.
Cole.
He's going through that chill phase, man.
J. Cole.
J. Cole. Yeah. J. Cole. The J. Cole like was before when he had shape up, looking well kept put together. He was more energetic, but I think like he's gone away from that mainstream stuff. He's doing that kind of thing, yeah, where these artists do where I'm not mainstream, but I'm mainstream.
Yeah, I think both J. Cole and Kendrick kind of fall into that.
For some reason, I believe Kendrick more, but I think that's because we don't see Kendrick all the time.
You don't see
then
J.
you've
Cole
got
all the
Drake, who's just the absolute
true.
Keep it on the mainstream.
Oh, Drake!
I don't care.
Drake is unapologetically like corny. He loves it.
Drake's running around starting DSS, Dark Skin Society, with Franklin Saint and Daniel Kaluuya. It's like, bro, you light skin. Never mind. I don't think he knows who. I don't think Drake knows who he is. There'll be a time Drake will be like 70 years old. Pray he lives that long. 70 years old, sitting down with all like because his tattoos look like a bathroom wall, like the secondary school toilets. That's what Drake's tattoos look like.
Your secondary school's toilets.
Yeah, you went to. I'll say about J. Cole though, I don't know if it's a good rollout or if it's just a weird rollout. It's good in the sense that like you don't really see these type of rollouts happen where it's like he goes on, does the freestyle, album's coming out, this is not happening, there's a documentary out. Great. Weird in that, and because the off-season thing is like, I'm balling hard in the off-season,
Yeah.
and he's talking about basketball, and he's actually going to play basketball.
Yeah.
Weird in that he's going to play basketball. What do we need to know this for? Why are you? What the hell are you going to the Rwandan
J. Cole,
league and taking somebody's spot who can actually play basketball?
Yeah.
And they're gonna introduce like J. Cole. It's like, bro.
What they did, the focus group for J. Cole, cause you know, I'm out here, I'm out here, I'm like a fly on the wall. What they did, in my opinion, is they said, J. Cole, let's lean into this Black Lives thing. What's the most African place you can think of? J. Cole looked at the map. Kenya's not African enough. Let's go Rwanda. He went there. He's probably going to change his name to Dikembe soon. Dikembe Cole. He's just going to lean into this whole African thing. His hair's going to look even more unwashed. Dreadlocks are going to be bigger. Listen. Tom Stradamus. I could see it. Could see it happening. Joe Budden, Rory and Mal. Rory and Mal. Rory and Mal. You Joe Budden. See, I can do it without like that. My voice wasn't modified there. That's actually my voice. If they need a voice actor, they should call me.
You were the guy who did
it.
Did you pay us for that?
I need to see my percentages, Joseph. So our rivals, they're having a bit of beef, trouble in paradise. I don't know if they can get it back. I listened to the Joe Budden one, bootleg. And I listened to Rory and Miles one, or watched bootleg.
You bootlegged it?
No, someone sent it to me. I couldn't avert my eyes. Wait, did you pay for it, Beezy? Yeah, I paid for it too.
This is lying for it. Just admit to it. Like, it was $2. Like, after exchange rate, it's decent. You spent more on them bad KFC wings that.
Oh my God! Don't remind me. It still hurts my feelings when I think about those wings. Anyway, so Joe Budden went on his. It was an entertaining podcast. Did you listen to it, 40?
No, well, I'm not that invested in them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just find Joe Budden a bit tiring. Like, he's entertaining sometimes.
Yeah.
But I just find him a little bit tiring to listen to for the amount of time of a podcast.
That wasn't for you, 40. That's for our rivals, the Joe Budden podcast.
I thought you were just booing me off.
No. To be fair, I'll be very honest. I haven't listened to the Joe Budden podcast for a while. So these past few weeks, because of the drama, just shows how much we're like drawn to drama. Really,
beef sells.
Yeah. Beezy, I hate you.
Why?
Oh no, I just wanted to sell the podcast.
I was just like, all right, okay, let's talk about it. You're gonna fight me now.
He was like, okay, why?
Let's have it up then.
Yes.
See, so for me, I guess maybe I'll come from a different perspective of like, in terms of like podcasts, this was one of the podcasts that I listened to like religiously.
Yeah.
So like from very, very early on. And I didn't come in because of Joe Budden. So I didn't really know much about Joe Budden. Musically, I was like, I get like, yeah, he can rap, but I was in because of the podcast. So I was in the entire thing, Rory, Mal, and Joe. Literally seeing it just absolutely just go to shit because of Joe Budden. And everybody sort of seeing that this is Joe Budden. And then you go back and it's like, this is what Joe Budden does. So 40's right. Joe Budden, if you know Joe Budden, you know that he just shouts a lot. He's obviously like just a narcissist. But I really didn't see it because I was so invested in this podcast that I listened to 2 times a week.
Did you notice any, because obviously you listen to it religiously or watch it, did you notice any tension before anything blew up? Or was it just like, you noticed it?
The thing with like, especially with us, right? In terms of people who are like musicians, we are musicians. I don't really do music now, but musicians. You see between the lines easily. So like the normal listener will not see between the lines. You would catch it. 40 would catch it if you listened. I catch it because it's like you can just sense it. So from the Spotify deal, literally, from the point of the Spotify deal where Joe would go on these rants, like Rory or something would say something in between the lines, you can hear what he's saying. And obviously, if you listen to like Rory and Ball's response, it's all about. It makes sense. They obviously have something on. They ask Joe. Joe gets in his feelings. I haven't have to show you nothing, which is Joe. And so they're talking about it between the pod because they don't talk about it outside the pod. Yeah. Pod 2 times a week.
Yeah. To be fair, like it's good calling it the Joe Budden podcast. Like, cause Joe Budden is Joe Budden. Rory and Mal weren't anyone before Joe Budden was a rapper before. However, I feel like the ego got too much. I'm just saying what I see.
I think from an outside perspective, right? Now, like I said, I'm not that invested in them anyway. So, like Joe Budden had the podcast before them, innit?
To be fair,
the podcast with other people.
He was actually quite quick on doing these YouTube things of like just YouTube Joe Budden TV. But when he started, like Rory was there from the first day, really.
Yeah, that's what Rory says.
Didn't he have it with
Marissa?
Yeah,
Peter Rosenberg was on.
Yeah, like when didn't it used to be called "We'll name this later" or something like that? Yeah, so I mean, from those times, and then like they adapted it. So I think I get it from like kind of Joe Budden's point of view of like just, well, it's my podcast. It always was. Yeah, you have come to like join in with it, but you know it's my thing. Like, and obviously the disrespect comes as soon as he's like, well, you don't get to see any of the numbers or anything, and that's if I put that into perspective of like. I work for a franchise. I manage a set of stores. I won't go into more details than that, but because you don't need to know. But the guy who owns the franchise, like, I'm not within my right really to be going like, "What's your numbers?" Because he pays me a wage because I'm not his partner. That's like ultimately, even though I probably do, like, maybe as much work in terms of bringing people into the business in terms of actually earning the money, like I probably do as 40, much if not more.
Yeah, 40. So, that's where I'm gonna stop you because I think me and Beezy are on the same wavelength.
I think so.
Whereby they're not his employees, and they've said it.
Yeah,
they've done a contract where when they got the spot. This is according to Rory and Ma. It's according to them. This is according to them. They did a contract whereby they get a percentage. And from my knowledge of what they were talking about, they don't even get as much as Joe. They know Joe, like Joe's the draw. Joe's the superstar of the podcast.
Big piece of the pie. And then
he gets a big piece of it.
But even to that point though, like it's so like if I'm where I'm working now, I can't say let's have a look at the books because I'm on a salary.
Yeah.
But the trajectory of a lawyer is if you want to be on the board, like you become a partner. So you pay in, and then you're not the person that created it because they come and go. But you can say, "Let's have a look at the books," because you're a partner. So it's like if they're on a salary and they're an employee, can't say that. But if you are on a percentage-based contract and you earn a percentage of the profits, which makes you a partner, you can say, "Let's have a look at the books."
But is that not because you in that specific situation, that's the way it's set up, and you're talking about paying in and stuff as well?
But that's what they've done. So they are on a percentage-based contract.
Yeah.
But you could be on a percentage-based contract. Like in the field I'm in, working in a retail store, could be on percentage-based there, but it doesn't mean that you have the rights to like look at the books. It's just the specific situation in it. So are they in a contract where, they're in a contract? Are they an employee or are they a partner?
I feel like they're partners from what they're saying, maybe they aren't.
From what it sounds like is they are partners based off like this is the pod. We get a piece of this pie, so we are all partners within this. But we know that it's Joe's thing. This is.
But if it's not an equal share of it, then there's obviously issues there as well, right?
Yeah,
like people with majority share.
I think they didn't care that it was because they know Joe Budden is Joe Budden, isn't it? Like he probably got like.
But then if they didn't care, then have they not done their like their work in the background. If they, oh, we just don't care, like we're just doing what we're doing.
That's
and
the
then
problem.
If Joe's
Friends-
okay, like,
friendships
all right,
and
see you
business.
later.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Is like you give your that's it. Like you learn a lot about, I guess, friendship and business because you give someone a lot of leeway. So you don't ask, but you know you've set precedent there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that at the point that you do want to ask, your friend should. Normally, your friend wouldn't turn around and say, "Well, fuck off, you fired." But that's Joe Budden.
Yeah.
You'd have at least a conversation. So yeah, like they're in the wrong. I think they're in the wrong in some instances. But Joe's created this and then he's ended it really badly, which is gonna probably be
Is
a
it all
problem
staged?
legally.
You know, I do this every week when I
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
Every week, I'm just like, yeah, but is it all staged though?
I
I
mean,
wouldn't.
people that haven't been talking about Joe, but like me, for example, people haven't been talking about this podcast are now going back to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what's gonna happen next week? What's gonna happen? Even I think the
Have they
latest
signed with
episode,
Spotify and maybe the numbers weren't quite where Spotify wanted, and they were like, right, how do we drum up some business?
No,
I mean, they've
they're
left
independent.
Spotify. Yeah, they've left Spotify now.
Why it's real is because the last episode, which I listened about 20% of it, and I was like, I can't.
Is it
stand this guy.
therapist?
Yeah, I didn't get to that point, but why I think it's real is because Joe's backtracking. At the point that Joe Budden starts backtracking, it means it's real because he feels bad at what he's done because he's seen that people are out against him.
Or has
So
he not
he's-
just done what he needed to do to get the numbers and now he's saving it? Because that's what like people tend to do, either go quiet for ages, or if you're on a podcast, you can't go quiet for ages. So then you've got to mend it. So you do this thing that blows it up. and
Damage
then
control.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it damages your brand a little bit, but you've managed to like blow your brand up further. But you still need some people on side. You can't just be the super villain all of the
Yeah.
time.
I
most
mean,
of the
he is.
time.
He's a big. Is the way he's doing it. He's a big super villain, and I feel like they should have just told him from the beginning. That's where they were wrong. Like, if you've taken it seriously now, why didn't you take it seriously at the
He's
beginning?
always been the villain, though, right? Like that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Joe Budden does, like from beating women up.
Yeah,
and
allegedly.
stuff like that. Well, he said he was like on top of her and all that, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
restraining her, didn't he?
Yeah, true. Going
Like
on
so
Love and
even
Hip
then,
Hop.
it was like, oh wow, like he was on the radio saying like, well, I was just sat underneath her breasts, like
breasts, yeah.
I wasn't like on her chest, like, and it's just like, what?
Crazy.
Honestly, everybody, again, because it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and it's not to say like you suffer from mental health, but everybody suffers from mental health, and
Yeah.
some things get tough. And I think Joe Budden has gone through some mad things.
Mad
that
stuff. Mad
like,
stuff.
Clearly, like, it's a good thing he's got therapy, and like when things like this happen, you need to go and speak to your therapist. But you should have your friends close, man. Your friends are the ones that have got your best interest.
I think Mal
doesn't-
I think Mal is like specifically hurt by this because they've been through a lot together, and for him to like just dismiss him like that.
Maybe
said-
they were never really friends. Maybe Joe Budden doesn't have friends. He seems like the kind of person who's just
Yeah,
not.
yeah, he could just drop someone like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, some people are like that, and they're like they say, "Oh yeah, these are my friends," but like
Mhm.
really, they're like, when it comes to it, come into this world by myself, unless you're a twin, and I'm gonna leave it by myself as well.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
Joseph, we
This
wish
is gonna
you
go
the best.
so viral when we have our time and break up because of money, eh? I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Nah, man, I had something else to say, but I'm going through a Joe Budden moment where I just forget what I'm gonna say. So let's just go on to real talk. Real talk. So I'll quickly run through this one. Jay-Z is in the it's gonna get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
How come they put like rappers in the rock and roll? I know they've done it for a while, and I know loads of rock people complained about it. But
Yeah, that's why I'm booing as well. We should have I said we,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
hip hop should have its own Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Mhm.
Do you think these rock and rollers, like these Mick Jagger, Move Like Jagger people, are accepting people like Jay-Z into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? They're gonna feel like it's what's that word that Jesse Lee Peterson always uses? I forgot what he uses, but yeah, like when there's not enough of a certain demographic somewhere, so you just put them in just because.
I get you.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Jay-Z might say he did that collaboration album with Linkin Park, and that's what like justifies him being. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I have to use this again.
Who
Sorry,
else
guys.
got inducted in along with him?
I mean, Tina Turner, she's rock and roll.
Right.
She's rock and roll. I mean, I think she's even
And-
making a comeback, isn't she? She's 80 something years old. Yeah, so
I
Tina
don't know,
Turner.
bro. Who else was going in?
Ike must be shaking in his boots. Then we got LL Cool J. But you know what's funny? Actually, I'm not even gonna boo that one because I feel like LL Cool J is kind of rock and roll for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. He's
I thought
gone
it's
from
like purely hip hop. Has he done
he's-
some rock and roll stuff over his time?
he's gone from I Wanna Knock You Out, and then he's gone from that to being a policeman on
What?
telly.
Oh, yeah.
No, not in
It's
real
like,
life. Yeah.
I thought
I
he'd done
mean-
like a Shaquille O'Neal. You know, Shaq does like everything.
Shaq does everything. Shaq does everything. He even feeds poor people in McDonald's.
I seen that, yeah.
To be fair, if a poor person was in the McDonald's, I'm going. Like, what kind of establishment are we running here? I'm joking. Sorry, that sounds so ignorant. Apologies, guys. But I don't want to be smelling homeless person while I'm eating my Big Mac or Big Tasty.
Wow.
You're so bougie, T.
I'm gonna get some hate for that when people actually start listening a lot. So
The vegans at all, and everyone else you keep just dissing on these pods are gonna come after
vegans,
you.
man, don't get me started on vegans again. Don't get me started.
Sorry.
I saw a previous.
Oh. I was like, damn, here we go.
I saw a previous guest on this podcast, Gista, say he had some nice vegan lunch, and I was like, Gista, why have you forsaken me?
It's just a vegan.
I don't even know if he's vegan, but yeah. So, Beezy, I've got a collab with Booney, you know, and I mentioned vegans in the track.
I was like, that was random.
I know. I literally didn't know what to say. I was like,
I mentioned vegans in the track. So
Wow.
yeah, vegans are on my radar right now.
Is it a diss track?
How to rob vegans. You've already robbed yourself of protein.
Before we start, sorry, I didn't mean to start this.
Oh, actually, this is real talk. So quickly, the Israel and Palestine beef. Seeing what's going on there. I've tried to read the ins and outs of it. I just feel like Palestinians are being tormented, if that's how we're gonna put it in layman's terms. There's a lot of have there been murders committed? Let's just put it out there for the dumb people like me.
Well, I think when one person kills another person,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's always classed as murder, especially in the context of war.
Yeah.
But it's murder, right? Yeah. So people have been killed.
Mhm.
But like, I think putting it as torment is like, Palestinians feel as if they've been more and more constricted into a smaller and smaller space because that's what's basically happening, isn't it? I think Israel are slowly trying to almost like annex those pieces of land.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like, and we'd obviously have to speak to someone who's Palestinian directly, but I don't think they even feel like it's like tormented. Like, they don't feel like they already don't feel like they've got what they should have.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost like past just being tormented, you know.
Oh.
It's like an everyday struggle
Mhm.
that never stops. And I think we see it in the media now and the news as it flares up.
Mhm.
And then we get like a bit more emotional about it. But from what I understand, it's like all of the time.
Mhm.
Like every Ramadan, Israel seems to do like launch an attack during Ramadan. Like there's no respect there. You know, I think the feeling that I get is that Israelis, or certainly the Israeli government, and it seems like a lot of the countries behind them in this, because they feel like they're at war all the time, which is they view Palestinians as like second class, basically, like lower humans.
Mhm.
So they treat them in that way.
Yeah. So like I was asking people at work who are like older women. I was telling them, oh, have you seen what's going on in Israel, between the Israelis and the Palestinians? And they were like, oh, is that still going on? So you know what I realized with that? I realized that things like this, it could be one of two things. Ignorance is bliss. That's number one, because us British, we just like keeping ourselves to ourselves. If it's not at our doorstep, we're just like, not our problem. Secondly, it could be this. It's been ingrained in society for so long that these type of countries have no peace, that now we're just desensitized to people being oppressed like this, which in itself is another big problem.
People are just removed from it.
Yeah.
Even myself, like, you know, we're not there, we don't see it, we haven't experienced any of it before.
Yeah.
These two sets of people, they don't view them as like fellow humans.
Yeah.
Like that, naturally, a lot of people don't do that. So they'll just be like, oh, well, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Palestinian. And even like just saying Israel and Judaism, like as if they like go together every time. Even I've just done it there. Like, I think the other side of it is that Israel doesn't represent the whole of Judaism. I know it's like, I think it's the only Jewish country out there.
Yeah.
So people obviously conflate the two, but yeah, like not all Jews back what's going on there as well, and some of them you see saying that they're you know, they don't agree with it and they don't believe it's like a Jewish way of going about it. But yeah, people in Britain don't identify with either people. They're far removed, so it's just like, and there's conflicts going on all over the world as well. I think the issue with this one is it's a UK created conflict.
Oh, okay.
So the UK has created this conflict, or maybe not created the conflict, but completely aided in the current situation. You know, they might not have exactly started the conflict between these two sets of people, one in the same land. That's probably been going on a much longer time. But the fact that the UK like had that land and then just left it, and actually, from what I understand, I'm not that educated in it, but gave the rights to the Jews, while there's Palestinians like also putting a claim to it.
Yeah.
Because I think I forget the name of the guy, but he was into Zionism. Like, he'd been reading Zionism and he liked it, so then he was like, oh well, the Zionists, like, let's give it to them, basically.
We need like someone from Palestine or Israel to come on and explain it better. And I feel like Jerusalem. Yeah, we need to get Jerusalem back on the podcast.
Just because she's called Jerusalem, like, she's not from Israel or Palestine.
Well, you can't call yourself that and not know like your history, the etymology of your name.
You can't call yourself that. I don't think she called herself that.
I mean, oh, come on. I'm gonna rekindle that beef as well. But no, I got everyone.
I mean,
I'm the one that starts these beefs. So
Nicki Minaj has a new song out.
Oh,
so you might have some ammo there.
Yeah, because trust me, like, I haven't listened to Nicki in years properly, and I listened to that track. Yeah, so quickly before I go into you, Beezy, there's another thing where even though I'm a Christian, I'm also human, and I'm seeing Muslims being oppressed in Israel, Palestine, and I'm also seeing something that's also been pushed to the back, which is almost Hitler-like, whereby in China, Muslims are being put, allegedly, because media is media in it, are being put in concentration camps. Now, as a Muslim brother, how do you feel about these, I can't even say micro oppressions, because that's ridiculous in my opinion. How do you feel when you see these things? Because you are Black and you are Muslim. So like, it's like a double whammy for you. What are your thoughts on these?
I mean, it's the same thought that I feel like everyone should have on a human level. Because again, like as 40 says, there's an element of understanding, for me anyways, it's definitely for me, like understanding exactly what is going on before speaking or talking about it. But on a human level, and there's so many different conflicts as well, but on a human level, it's inhumane to see things like that going on. I think for me, when I take a step back, I just see it from, I guess, from the British media point of view, or whatever high power who tries to suppress all these things.
Yeah. And
that's the problem that I have, because, and that's what I'm encouraged by, is, you know, the social media being used the right way, people putting things out there, seeing things, because our own government, the country we're in, and obviously China's a completely different ballgame, they'll suppress that to the point that you don't even see what's going on a day-to-day basis, which then leads to people feeling like I can't relate and not caring about it. So to keep it short, I mean, of course it's tough. I mean, last year was tough enough as a black man.
Yeah.
That you just feel tired by the end of it. And that is still ongoing, but it's being suppressed in some instances. So it's just tough, but you just hope and pray for a better outcome and better days.
Yeah. And for this to be happening during Eid, where it's a time of celebration.
That's hard. That's where like you can't fathom, regardless of whatever conflict is, it's on a human basis. Like it's seeing people in mosques running away from grenades, smoke bombs and stuff. Like you can't. That's just tough to see.
It's mad. It's mad.
That's plain and simple.
Yeah. As we discussed earlier, it was Mental Health Week this past week, the 10th of May to the 16th of May. As men, not to sound too cliche, but we don't really talk about these issues, really. And that's led to a higher rate of suicides in men. Is that correct? Higher rate of suicides. Men tend to bottle up things. I mean, I say it as a joke about beta, because I do talk, if you want to talk about beta, I'm probably one of the most beta men out there. However, I feel like if you want to keep more men alive, ironically, us men need to be more beta. I know that sounds a bit weird, but we need to start talking about our feelings more.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is we don't have to have the need to always be this machismo alpha, you know, because that sometimes means we don't have introspective moments, do we? We don't look into what's going on in ourselves, too busy trying to like be something for the external. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just want to go through quickly. We could all give like examples of times where we've experienced ourselves or other people in our lives. We've seen other people in our lives experience mental health issues. I'll start with you, Beezy.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting you say other people experience mental health issues within our life. I mean, very short. I have an uncle who's suffering a lot from mental health, and you know, I've been in very tough positions where I've actually like walked in and seen things that people really shouldn't see and helped him out in that instance. But I say to put the two together of the times I've struggled and seen it in other people. I didn't see it in somebody who was a very, very close friend of mine, classmate as one of my best mates, who took his own life in 2019. And so someone I worked with, like I worked in the same place as him, we were on the come up, he would have qualified with me, and he was a very good friend of mine. And yeah, like I didn't see it coming. The week before was Mental Health Awareness Week. And we went on a walk together and we talked about how great it's going to be when we qualify and become lawyers. And a week after, he took his own life. That started a spiral for me because, I mean, I didn't know how to deal with it. I dealt with it in the same way that 40 says, you just get on with things and think you've got to just work hard. And then it led to a spiral because I was being overworked. I was overworking myself and I was putting a lot of stress on myself.
Yeah.
I was struggling with grief. And back end of 2019, I don't even know if I spoke to you properly, T, but I was struggling. I even at a certain time thought, is this entire thing worth it? Was my friend right? When I was so against the fact that I was so angry that he took his own life that I thought, what if he's right? Because I can't actually deal with all of this right now. I'm struggling. And at that point, I had to just, step up and I had to speak. And I spoke to the person that I thought I'd never really speak to as a black man, my mum. Because you don't really grow up in a household like that.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true.
And I've taken steps accordingly to just figure that out. And the great thing is, I think, like 40 says, talking. Like there's an aspect of looking forward to talking to you, to seeing how you're doing, because it makes you feel good. Like it's a routine and it's nice. And you don't then feel like when you are struggling, you can just say, boys, this is a tough time for me right now. I'm struggling, because they will understand you, which is something that I think as you grow up, you don't have, because you're so separated from friends, real friends. You just have colleagues and sometimes family that you can't really speak to, or like another half. But what about friends who just know you in and out, that when you say, I'm struggling, they'll get it because they get you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. With that point of being, this is no disrespect to you 40 at all, but it's like, it's different when you grow up in, especially in an African household, where they're like, oh, I'm feeling low. Go and wash the plates. Take your mind off it.
That doesn't just happen in African households,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes
I think that's a narrative I hear a lot of, and look, I didn't grow up in an African household, so I can't. I'm not saying like otherwise, but I just think sometimes people think like I don't know, like I don't think all white households, let's say like, oh, you're okay, do you want to sit down, let's talk about it. Like there's like, we have dads that were brought up by dads who probably like very much were into the macho stuff, you know what I mean? So it's like, not, I don't want to say like military, but I think there's a lot of like white dads out there who are like, don't want to acknowledge that there's even mental health and stuff like that, because it's like, no, man up. It's all man up thing, isn't it? Like I think we all can relate to that.
I think what T you could probably, where you were probably trying to get to, I could certainly sort of definitely attest to it, because of, like I say, my uncle's just struggling with mental health issues. But a lot of black families don't even see mental health as a thing. It was like, what, mental health issues? Like, it's clearly, you've been diagnosed with having this.
Yeah, depression.
And it's like, no, that's stupid.
Nah, it's the devil. It's the devil.
Yeah, let's just take you to a village. Let's take you to a village in Africa, and they'll pray over you, and it's fine. You'll be all right. And it's like, that isn't the case. And I think there's just it's that wall over, like, to see, and like people just think he's just being crazy, stupid. It's all in his head. It's like, you really won't understand it, which is where I think
it is all in the head.
But in that sense of, like,
I know what you're saying, but like it's ironic kind of thing, isn't it? Like, it is all in the head. Like, that's literally the thing that leads us day in, day out.
1000%.
Yeah. So it is all in the head. But I don't know, like maybe people. I think it's just that thing of the physical, like the actual body. Like, people look at health and doctors and whatnot, and in terms of their body, like is my body working? You know, can I move? Like, that's where people see, oh, they've got an issue there, they need help. Yeah. But when it's that invisible, like in the head, people are like, it's in your head. Like, just change what's in your head. Yeah. But it's not that easy. I mean, I spoke to a doctor, and the doctor said, when you were like, basically the doctor had been practicing for about my lifespan. That's how long I've been practicing for. He said, when you were born, when I had like there's this doctor's like big book that they have, he was telling me there was like one page, like not even a double spread for mental health. Like, I don't know if it's like a guidebook for GPs or something, but he said now that's that same book, there's like a whole section, or there's another book or something for mental health. So when we look at like our parents, or even we maybe need to look at why are our parents like this, we need to look at their parents, like, and so on. Like, you've got to think, just society viewed mental health differently. So then we have these parents that want to be, I don't know, they come across like strict, or they say things like, oh, it's on your head.
It's true. It's true. 40, what experience have you had, or experiences have you had that you want to talk about in terms of?
I don't really want to go into too much today.
Yeah, I understand.
Beezy covered like a really kind of important issue with that one, that covered, like, it was a specific example, but it covered, like, it's ended up us talking about the approach to mental health, which is what I think ideally we need to talk about. But you know, I think as well, like, I feel if I talk about my own mental health, like, I struggled a long time anxiety, but then when I say that, I feel like, oh, everyone's going to be like, anxiety. Like, that's how I feel, if I'm honest. Like, I feel a bit shameful about it, and I feel like people dismiss it. And do you know what? As somebody who actually really, really struggles with it, like, I don't want to go into it too much, but like, somebody who's really struggled with it at times, even I look at people when they say they've got anxiety, like, "Ugh, here we go." Like, I'll be honest, I do. Because I don't know if I think like, well, are you really struggling? Like, but then I need to think, well, if I can struggle, why couldn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. We're programmed mad. I think just the way we've been brought up, like we're saying, like in society or whatnot. Like we don't always look at our issues, and like me specifically, I don't always look at my issue and think like, I don't know, like other people can struggle as well, almost
Yeah.
from the point of view of like, there can't be that many people struggling like this because I'm having a really hard time, and I don't really see people having such a hard time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because
I know
everyone's
what you mean.
putting on these faces and pretending like the same as me, so it's a bit of a vicious
It's
kind
a
of
vicious
cycle.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll come at it from a different angle because this is actually real to me, whereby it's kind of the embarrassment to admit that you're struggling. I think me and Beezy talked about this in the -1 or -2 episodes, like the extra episodes. Beezy didn't even have a clue. Like, not to be arrogant or nothing like that or anything like that or blow my own trumpet, but if you saw me on a day-to-day basis, when Beezy sees me, when 40 sees me, you would have no clue, especially during those times where I was actually struggling. So it was kind of embarrassing to kind of tell someone, oh, like, I would book a shift and then cancel it because I just didn't feel like going in that day. When, you know, I have to pay rent, but it wasn't laziness. It was just, I can't be bothered to get out of bed. I know it sounds funny, but the time I knew I was proper going through it was, I wasn't going to work, but I couldn't even be bothered to play PlayStation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could be at home like, oh, I'm lazy, but I'm going to play some PlayStation, you know what I mean? But I'll just be in bed.
Yeah, I think one of the questions, like if you ever go to a GP or something, and maybe like say similar things to what you're saying now, one of the questions they ask is, what do you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
Are you finding enjoyment in doing that?
Exactly.
Right now, and I think that's one of the kind of symptoms of depression.
Yeah.
When a GP will say, oh, I think this person's depressed, is when you don't find enjoyment in basically anything, like the things that you normally go to, like, oh, let me switch on the PS because I know this is going to fire off like whatever in my brain and I'm going to be buzzing, like, and then when you don't even want to do that, that's like, oh, now we're starting to see symptoms of depression.
Exactly. And in retrospect, quickly, I'll quickly talk about this, because now I look at my actions and I think, wait a minute, because a lot of things happened in the year 2018. I'll just rewind quickly. Broke up with my girlfriend. So like it comes to a cascade of things where, and then even though I headlined O2 Academy, it's just like the what next after that brought me down even more. For my girlfriend to not be there as well. Then we had the whole Facebook debacle where me and Beezy were in a former rap group, New Northeast, and I was getting accusations left, right, and center. Like someone was calling me the C word online.
Cunt.
Yeah. So I was calling me that online. Like I was getting like bare messages, bare notifications per minute about how I'm a female genitalia, you know. And me, I just like to be nice to everyone, man. I don't want any grievances. So all that put together, and it goes back to the point of, what do you love doing? And you didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to rap anymore. Because rapping is what brought me all this. Let me just say it. Rapping is what brought me all this depression. If we think about it. O2, breaking up with my girlfriend.
Maybe the thing with your girlfriend, like, is like, did she break up with you because you rapped?
Nah, that was a different thing. We won't even go into that. But
I'm not. I wasn't expecting you to, but I'm just saying, like, I think that was probably like a huge part of it, innit? Like, and I think that's the thing. We sometimes go through tough times, and we need to even distinguish ourselves. Like, am I just going through a tough time? Like, is it kind of natural for me to be feeling down here?
Yeah.
Like, is things going to be difficult right now?
Mhm.
And from there, like, what can I do? What patterns can I change? What changes can I make that's going to make me feel better?
Yeah.
Because we sometimes get stuck in doing things that aren't good for us. Like,
Yeah,
people
exactly.
talk about self-care.
Mm.
It's a big part of that's identifying what you're doing, and sometimes we have to make changes, right?
Yeah.
That's why you
And-
got to know yourself. You got to
Yeah.
know if you're able to do that within yourself. You're able to take a step back and say, "Look, like this is too much right now. I will do this. I identify this. I will do this to change." Great. But if you sometimes if you know that you are feeling like if things are going tough and you're like, I can't stop or whatever, that's when you sort of do need someone to check in.
Yeah.
Because then that
Yeah.
someone could be that person who tells you.
Mhm.
So I don't think like therapy is great. And I've been to therapy. I didn't think it was really for me, but I also feel comfortable in knowing where I am now. Like, this is too much. I need to take a step back and know what I've got to do for it. But some people can't. So then you
need
know,
a bit of help with that.
Then you get that.
And it's not you don't need to be embarrassed for getting a bit of help. But yeah, mental health awareness week. And we're not just saying it for men as well. Women,
1,000.
not taking the piss either. Women, transgenders, non-binaries, everyone, because we know that transgenders and non-binary people suffer through their own mental health because of identity, because of society. So please, if you need to talk to someone, and you know what, I'm gonna put some links below this podcast on Spotify just for help. If you need to talk to someone, don't feel embarrassed. Just speak to someone. Yeah.
I hope this was sorry. I just said just this us doing this. I think is sick, and I hope people who watch it sort of like just three guys who have a laugh on a daily basis, whether it's through WhatsApp or this.
Yeah.
Just switch on and just talk about it and really like open up, because I think it just shows how much you appreciate the people who can listen to these things and
yeah. And God forbid, like, you're going through a tough time, because when you're on your own, God forbid you're not here the next day. Let me just say that. I know it's tough to hear, but God forbid if you're going through a tough time and you decide, listen, yeah, we don't want that to happen. Just make sure you always have someone on call, even if it's like a helpline. Track of the week, where we pick our tracks of the week. Yeah, that explains it perfectly. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think 40 Beezy, you both have the same track of the week. I think we were discussing this earlier.
The new Nicki Minaj track, but not for the verses, just for the beat. So the what's the track called?
It's Seeing Green.
What's it? Right, okay. But then,
oh man, are they talking about vegans again?
They're talking about vegans again.
Seeing green, like seeing vegetables. Oh man, I can't
I
get
was
away
going to
from
call
this.
it I See Green People. I don't know where I got that from. I think it's because of the spaceships. Maybe it was the aliens.
I mean, Nicki Minaj was into all that stuff, right? Wasn't she? Let me just play this track. I mean, the beat is terrific.
Yeah, just loop this. That'll do for me.
I might spit a verse on this, you know.
But he wants the instrumental.
Trunchy.
That's it. We're demonetized once again.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't play too much till we get that Spotify deal. That was like 30 seconds.
Even Spotify don't let people play. Joe Rogan always goes, is it gonna show up? Like, I don't understand. Like, don't Spotify have all the songs already?
What the? But
from the labels, don't it?
You know that beat that was from this guy that was online, isn't it? Like, it went viral.
Really? Like 2019 or something.
Yeah, it went viral, and then he was like, "Who should spit on this?"
Which guy?
I don't even know.
Just some guy, like literally, like on a just on an MPK or something.
Yeah, he was in the car and was.
Okay.
That's what he was doing. Then the beat was just coming out, and then loads of people were saying Rick Ross. Who do you think would sound on that good on that beat? 40.
Cameron. They should have had Cameron on it. Especially he's just been on the J. Cole album as well, and it'd have been
Cameron was
good
on
timing.
I'm surprised none of you picked J. Cole.
I would have picked the J. Cole album, a song off the J. Cole album, because I really like that album. But that scene, for me, I love 40, but for me, it's the verses over the beat. The beat's sick, but I loved all three verses. It was like back in the day, because I loved the
I wasn't really into the, what did they call them, the three-headed goat.
YMCMB. See, like I was when Lil Wayne was Carter 3. Like that's what I listened to. So hearing him there sounded like old Lil Wayne. Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Do you think he sounded like old Wayne on that though?
More old than he ever has. I think you can never get back to peak Carter 3 Wayne, but the way he was spitting to me sounded like that.
I think that's what they were trying to do, when I think about it, Beezy, actually. Because
so.
The way Drake was spitting, it was like, wait, I haven't heard Drake spit like this for a while.
Well, he has. I think he has been. I think Drake is, the way I say Drake's like match fit.
Yeah.
Like that's why he sounded good. Because I don't necessarily think his verse was like mind blowing, but he sounded match fit. Because he's been.
Do you know what I'm not a fan of? The way Nicki like says the end of her lines, like she proper says them like as if it's like a proper like, oh, that's a hard bar, but then
outstanding.
It's not. Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm standing out. Outstanding.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay.
I don't know if that was one of her bars, by the way, but that's how
it was something like that. Yeah, she said something stand in, then it did a stand in, and I'm like, oh, all right, calm down.
She needs that Safari care
package. She does. Back. She needs the Safari D back.
The blood clot the man them. He was writing the bars.
He needs to come. He needs to come in the studio with his jean vest top again. Because you guys picked one. Let me quickly do this. Because bro, you mentioned Cameron 40. I was listening to, because I'm still going through albums from 2017.
Yeah.
On my old laptop. So I've got this one because I mentioned Scarface in it on my block. So check this one out from Cameron. I just love this beat, man. This is Chop It Up by Cameron from the album The Program.
The Program, yeah. I remember this. He had a track dissing Kanye, didn't he?
I don't know, I haven't heard the full album.
It was called Coleslaw. I think he was saying Kanye's just like the bit on the side.
Well, Kanye. But this is my track of the week. Let's play this one. It's by The Game.
Is it new?
Nah. 2015.
Surprise, motherfucker.
No, that was some part of it. For the documentary part 2.
Sounding like Biggie there.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to say that. Do you know the sample, the rapper that used that same sample?
No, who was it?
Tupac.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I can't remember what song. Yeah, but yeah.
Game, Tupac, we talked about this before, and Game's one of them rappers who's like, he's a great imitator.
Yeah. Through that whole track, he sounds like Biggie. So that's.
He did a song on LAX, Never Gonna Say Goodbye, where it was like the story of him pretending to be Big, Pac, and Eazy-E.
Yeah.
And he nailed it. Because
it's what he like does.
Them. Yeah.
It borderlines corny a little bit, doesn't it? I think some of his...
Game is corny, but I'm not going to tell that to his face.
No.
Isn't he like 6'6"?
Yeah, he looks like a big guy, doesn't he?
Yeah. Game, you're corny, but we love you. In Your Neighborhood Podcast, episode 18. Yeah.
18.
I'm 18, 14. I've got ahead of myself there. Yo, Reali-T, your boy from Hackney. aka Black Guy in Your Neighborhood, aka my mother's favorite rapper, and this is the In Your Neighborhood podcast, baby.